What if the most important part of ancient cities was never meant to be seen? What if beneath the streets, temples, and ruins we admire today, there exists another world, hidden, silent, and deliberately ignored? Because across history, something strange keeps appearing. Entire underground systems, built with precision, scale, and purpose, and yet rarely talked about. Before we go deeper, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover may completely change how you see ancient civilizations. Because this isn't just history. This is something that was hidden on purpose. Let's begin beneath Cappadocia. From above, it looks like a normal ancient region. Rock formations, carved homes, historic beauty. But below it lies something massive. The Derinkuyu Underground City, a multi-level underground city carved deep into the earth. This isn't a cave. It's a fully functional world. Living spaces, food storage, wells, ventilation systems, even areas for animals. At its peak, it could support thousands of people, completely hidden from the surface. Think about that. An entire population living below ground, not for days, not for weeks, but for extended periods of time. And that raises a first unsettling question. Why would anyone build something like this? Because constructing underground is not easy. It takes effort, planning, time. No one does this without a reason. And that's where the mystery begins. Because this idea doesn't exist in just one place. Beneath Rome, the Roman catacombs stretch for kilometers, hidden tunnels beneath a thriving city. In Egypt, scans of the Great Pyramid of Giza have revealed unexplained voids, spaces we still cannot access. And beneath Malta, the Haile Saflieni Hypogeum shows an underground structure so precise it feels almost impossible for its time. Different civilizations, different locations, same pattern. Build below, hide below, preserve below, and yet we rarely talk about it. Why? Because maybe these underground worlds were not just part of daily life. Maybe they were something else entirely, something controlled, something restricted, something not meant for everyone. Which leads to a chilling possibility. What if these hidden worlds were designed not just for survival, but for secrecy? Because in the next part, we go deeper into how these underground systems actually worked, and why they feel far more advanced than we expect from ancient civilizations. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath was never meant to be fully understood. What if these underground worlds were not just built to hide people, but to keep them alive, no matter what happened above? Because the deeper we go, the more something becomes clear. These weren't random tunnels. They were engineered systems, carefully designed, precisely planned. Before we go further, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to discover may completely change how you see ancient intelligence. Because now, we are no longer asking what lies beneath. We are asking how it all worked. Return once again beneath Cappadocia, inside Derinkuyu Underground City. At first, it feels like chaos. Narrow tunnels, twisting pathways, multiple levels. But look closer, and a pattern emerges. Everything is placed with purpose. Take the ventilation system. Deep shafts carved vertically through the rock, some reaching over 50 meters. These weren't accidental. They were positioned to circulate fresh air across all levels. Even the deepest chambers could breathe. Without electricity, without machines, ancient builders created a natural airflow system capable of sustaining thousands of people underground. That alone is extraordinary. But survival needs more than air. It needs water. Inside the city, wells were carved deep into underground sources. And here's the strategic brilliance. Some of these wells were only accessible from inside, which means even if enemies discovered the surface entrance, they couldn't poison the water supply. Now think about food. Large storage areas were built to preserve supplies, grain, dried food, essential resources, protected from the outside world, which means people weren't hiding for a short time. They were prepared for long-term survival. Weeks, months, maybe longer. And then there's movement. The tunnels are narrow, sometimes only wide enough for one person. At first, this feels like a limitation. But in reality, it's control. Because narrow tunnels slow down movement. They prevent large groups from advancing quickly, and they make defense easier. One person can hold a passage. An entire group can be stopped, and then come the massive circular stone doors. Heavy, solid, placed at key points. These doors could be rolled into position from the inside. Once closed, entire sections were sealed, completely cut off, an invisible fortress beneath the ground. And this level of design tells us something powerful. This wasn't panic. This was preparation, planning for something serious enough to require an entire city beneath the surface. And this idea appears again across different civilizations. In the Roman catacombs beneath Rome, tunnels stretch endlessly, hidden movement beneath a busy city. Inside the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, internal pathways and voids show precise planning and hidden design. Different cultures, same intelligence, build systems that can survive even when the surface cannot. Which leads to a deeper question. If these systems were built so perfectly, were they meant to be used alone, or were they part of something larger? Because in the next part, we explore the possibility that these underground worlds were connected, forming a hidden network beneath entire regions. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath may be far bigger than we imagined. What if these underground worlds were never meant to be isolated? What if they were connected, forming a hidden network beneath entire regions? Because the deeper we investigate, the more this idea begins to take shape. These were not just individual cities. They may have been part of something much bigger. Before we go further, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover could completely change how we understand ancient civilizations. Because now, we are no longer looking at a single underground city. We are looking at a system, a hidden layer of the ancient world. Let's return again to Cappadocia. Hey, underground cities like Derinkuyu Underground City and Cappadocia Underground City exist just a few kilometers apart. But here's where things get interesting. There's evidence suggesting that these cities may have been connected through underground tunnels, long, narrow passageways carved deep into the earth. If true, this would mean people could travel between entire cities without ever coming to the surface. Think about that. A hidden transportation system, invisible, protected, silent, a world beneath the world. And suddenly, everything changes. Because now, these underground cities are not just shelters. They are nodes, parts of a larger network. But this idea doesn't stop here. In parts of Germany and Austria, mysterious underground tunnels known as Erdstall have been discovered. These are not natural caves. They are man-made, narrow, winding passages, often too tight to walk through, sometimes leading to small hidden chambers. Their purpose is still debated, but their presence across wide regions suggests something important. Ancient people weren't just building underground spaces. They were building pathways, connections. Now shift your focus to Peru. Beneath ancient sites, there are reports of long underground tunnels extending far beyond what has been explored. Local traditions even speak of hidden routes connecting distant locations beneath the land. While not all of these claims are fully confirmed, the pattern is hard to ignore. Different civilizations. Same idea. Build below. Connect below. Move below. Because if the surface world becomes dangerous, the underground becomes freedom, a place to travel safely, to communicate secretly, to relocate without being seen. And if that's true, then what we discovered so far may only be a small part of something much larger. Because many of these tunnels remain unexplored. Collapsed sections block entire paths. Unknown chambers remain sealed. And in many places, modern cities now sit directly above ancient underground systems. Which means right now, beneath our feet, there could be entire networks still waiting to be discovered, unseen, untouched, forgotten, and that leads to a powerful thought. What if these underground worlds were not just built for survival, but for continuity? A hidden backup system for civilization itself. Because in the next part, we go deeper into the most mysterious layer of all. Spaces that don't look like homes, don't function like tunnels, and may not have been built for survival at all. Stay with the story, because what lies deeper may not have been meant for everyone. What if the deepest parts of these underground worlds were never meant for living at all? Because as we go further down, something begins to feel different. The tunnels become quieter, the chambers become emptier, and the purpose becomes harder to explain. Before we go deeper, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover may challenge everything we think we know about ancient civilizations. Because now, we are entering the most mysterious layer, the part no one talks about. Let's begin beneath Malta, inside the House Saflieni Hypogeum. At first glance, it doesn't look like a city. There are no signs of daily life, no kitchens, no storage rooms, no evidence of survival. Instead, what we find are carefully carved chambers. Smooth walls, perfect symmetry, multiple levels, but no obvious function. And then something even stranger happens. Sound behaves differently here. Certain tones echo across the chambers in unnatural ways. Even a whisper can travel further than expected. It's as if the entire structure was designed to interact with sound. But why? Some researchers believe it was used for rituals, chanting, ceremonies where sound played a central role. Others believe it was designed to create an experience, a controlled environment that affected how people felt, a place meant to influence the mind. And that changes everything. Because now, these underground spaces are not just physical structures. They are environments, designed for something deeper than survival. Now return once again to Cappadocia, deep inside Derinkuyu Underground City. Hidden within its lower levels are chambers that feel completely out of place. They are isolated, hard to reach, disconnected from living areas. No signs of storage, no evidence of daily use. Just empty, carved space. And that emptiness feels intentional, because carving into rock takes effort, time, labor. No one creates a space like this without a reason. Now think about the pattern we've seen so far. Advanced engineering, hidden networks, controlled movement, and then these mysterious chambers with no clear purpose. It's almost as if different layers served different roles. Upper levels for living, middle levels for movement and defense, and deeper levels for something else entirely, something restricted, something not meant for everyone. And that leads to a powerful possibility. What if these deepest chambers were reserved for specific individuals, specific activities, or specific knowledge? Because in many ancient cultures, certain spaces were sacred, hidden, accessible only to a few. And if that idea extended underground, then these chambers may have been the most important part of all. Not because of what they contained, but because of what happened inside them. Which brings us to the final question. What was the true purpose of these underground worlds? Because in the final part, everything comes together. The cities, the systems, the networks, and the mystery. And we uncover why this hidden world is rarely talked about. Stay with the story, because the truth may be deeper than we ever imagined. What if the reason no one talks about these underground worlds is because we still don't fully understand them? Because when you connect everything, the hidden cities, the survival systems, the underground networks, and the mysterious chambers, you begin to see a pattern that is impossible to ignore. This was not random. This was not accidental. This was intentional. Before we reveal the final idea, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to realize may completely change how you see ancient civilizations. Because now, everything comes together. Beneath Cappadocia, massive underground systems like Derinkuyu Underground City and Cappadocia Underground City show us how entire populations could survive in secrecy. Beneath Rome, the Roman catacombs stretch for miles, creating a hidden layer beneath a living city. Inside the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, unexplained voids remain sealed, spaces that exist but are still beyond our reach. And beneath Malta, the House Saflieni Hypogeum reveals that some underground spaces were not built for survival, but for something far more mysterious. Different civilizations, different timelines, different purposes. But the same idea keeps appearing. Build below, hide below, protect below, preserve below. And that may be the real reason no one talks about it. Because underground, things last. Temperature stays stable. Structures remain protected. Time moves differently. If you wanted to protect something from war, from collapse, from destruction, you wouldn't leave it above ground. You would hide it beneath it. And that something may not have been just people. It could have been knowledge, beliefs, records of their civilization, a way to ensure that even if the surface world changed, something would survive, because these underground worlds were not just shelters. They were safeguards, A hidden layer of civilization designed to continue even if everything above was lost. And here's the most powerful thought of all. What if we haven't found everything yet? Because even today, new discoveries are being made. Hidden tunnels beneath modern cities, sealed chambers beneath ancient ruins, unknown voids detected by advanced technology, which means right now, beneath your feet, there could be entire worlds still waiting to be discovered, silent, hidden, untouched for thousands of years, waiting. So the next time you walk through a city, remember this. You're not just walking on history. You might be walking above it. If you want to uncover more hidden worlds, lost civilizations, and secrets buried beneath our planet, make sure you subscribe and stay with us. Because history isn't gone. It's just hidden. And the deeper you look, the more you realize we've only just begun.